You are sitting at your desk right now. You have a project open. You have a plan. And for some reason, you cannot make yourself start. Meanwhile, somewhere out there, a person with the exact same brain as yours just built a billion-dollar company. That is not a coincidence, and it is not a contradiction. It is actually the same wiring doing two very different things. And once you understand why, you will never look at your own brain the same way again. Because here's what nobody tells you. Some of the most successful founders, inventors, and disruptors in history did not succeed in spite of their ADHD. They succeeded because of it. Richard Branson has been open about his ADHD for years, publicly diagnosed, publicly vocal. He built the Virgin Group, over 400 companies, spanning airlines, telecom, music, space travel. And he has said, in his own words, that his ability to think differently, to spot patterns other people miss, to get bored with the status quo and tear it apart, all of that comes directly from how his brain is wired. He nearly failed out of school. He could not sit still. He could not follow the path everyone else was walking, so he built his own. Sound familiar?
Elon Musk has openly stated he has ADHD. The same brain that makes it hard to sit through a meeting nobody cares about is the same brain that can lock onto a single engineering problem for 14 hours straight and forget to eat. That is not discipline. That is hyperfocus. That is your brain's fire hose of attention finding something worth pointing at. And here is where it gets interesting. Bill Gates has never publicly confirmed an ADHD diagnosis, but researchers and psychologists have pointed to a pattern that is hard to ignore. The restless curiosity, the obsessive deep dives into topics that fascinated him while ignoring everything that did not, the legendary impatience with inefficiency. The same traits that made school difficult for so many of us are the traits that let him see personal computing as the future, when most of the world thought computers belonged in basements. Steve Jobs never received a public diagnosis either, but experts in ADHD, including prominent psychologists, have said for years that his behavior read like a textbook case. The hyperfocus, the impatience, the ability to see connections across completely unrelated fields when everyone around him saw nothing. The way he could obsess over the curve of a font or the weight of a button while ignoring the things that bored him entirely. None of that was ever confirmed. But if you have ADHD and you are reading that list, something in your chest just said, "That is me." And that is the point. You are not broken. You are not broken. You do not need to try harder. You need to aim it.
Because there is a theory in evolutionary psychology that explains all of this. It is called the hunter-farmer hypothesis, and it was developed by Tom Hartman. The idea is simple, but it changes everything. For most of human history, the people who survived were not the ones who could sit still and tend crops in neat rows. They were the ones who could scan the horizon constantly, notice every movement, react instantly, and shift their attention the moment something more important appeared. They were hunters. Their brains were built for fast decisions, novel environments, high stimulation, and bursts of intense focus on a single target. That is your brain. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not scattered. You are running a hunter's operating system in a farmer's world. Modern classrooms, 9-to-5 offices, quarterly performance reviews, all of that was designed for the farmer brain, consistent, predictable, routine. And every time you sit in one of those environments and feel like you are crawling out of your skin, that is not a deficiency. That is your brain screaming that it was built for something else. The founders who changed the world understood this, even if they couldn't name it. Branson didn't thrive because he learned to sit still. He thrived because he stopped trying to. He built environments around himself where novelty was constant, where decisions had to be fast, where boredom was impossible. He turned his wiring into the architecture of his entire career. Musk does not run 5 companies because he has superhuman discipline. He does it because his brain physically cannot stop chasing the next hard problem. That is not a productivity hack. That is an ADHD brain that found its hunt. Dana Boyd, one of the most respected computer scientists in the world, a principal researcher at Microsoft Research, has written openly on her blog about living with ADHD, about the constant negotiation to chase every fascinating thread, and a career that demands sustained, structured output. She did not hide it. She named it. And she built one of the most impressive research careers in tech anyway. Now, here is where most videos about successful people with ADHD get it wrong. They tell you that ADHD is a superpower. Full stop. Go be great. And then you close the video, and you still cannot start the project that has been sitting on your desk for 3 weeks. That is not because the superpower is fake. It is because nobody told you how the superpower actually works. Your brain does not run on importance. It does not run on deadlines or guilt or the knowledge that you should care. Your brain runs on interest, novelty, challenge, urgency. It is what researchers call the interest-based nervous system, and it means that the bridge between wanting to do something and actually doing it is not made of willpower. It is made of engagement. If the task does not light up your brain's reward system, the bridge has missing planks, and no amount of forcing yourself to cross it will build them back. That is why you can spend 9 hours researching a topic nobody asked you about, but you cannot spend 9 minutes on the email that is overdue. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It is hunting. It is scanning for the thing that is worth locking onto. The founders who made it did not have better brains than you. They found their hunt. Branson found the chaos of building new businesses. Musk found the impossibly hard engineering problems. Boyd found the intersection of technology and human behavior that her brain could not stop pulling apart. They did not force themselves into a farmer's life and try harder. They built a hunter's life and let the wiring do what it already wanted to do. And that is the part nobody says out loud. You do not need to fix your brain. You need to find the thing your brain was already built to chase. Think about the last time you were in hyperfocus, really in it. The world disappeared. Time stopped existing. You forgot to eat, forgot to check your phone, forgot that anything else was real. That was not a glitch. That was your brain operating exactly as designed. That was the hunter locking onto the target. The problem was never your ability to focus. The problem was that most of the world hands you tasks your brain was never wired to care about, and then calls you broken when you cannot force yourself through them. You are not broken. You have the same wiring as the people who built empires, launched rockets, and reimagined entire industries. The same restless curiosity, the same pattern recognition, the same ability to see what everyone else is missing, the same fire hose of attention that, once it finds its direction, is almost impossible to stop. The difference is not talent. It is not luck. It is alignment. It is finding the environment, the problem, the mission that your specific brain was built to hunt. So no, you are not sitting at your desk failing to start because something is wrong with you. You are sitting at your desk because your brain is a hunter, and it is waiting for its hunt. You do not need to try harder. You need to aim it.